Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. I hope you are all well. This is video 2 of 2. You're looking beautiful on this terrific, terrific Tuesday. I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes, as this video is going to piss people off. But I'm doing it anyway, because I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I'm going to show you a little clip from a video. And what spurned this, right, is this. I did a video the other day that was the curious case of Erika Kirk. And I'll just show you some of the, because I got some fucking backlash then. You're gonna, aren't you? And it was the curious case of Erika Kirk. And I just basically said, look, with all due respect, she's lost her husband. When she's done these things that you've seen, which is, the remembrance thing, the memorial service. She also done a video where she was standing over Charlie's corpse. She's also done a small video on the Charlie Kirk show, which she seemingly was fucking elated, which we're going to look at in a second on another channel. And before I do that, this is the channel. Like, I don't know if you know this guy, Keith Edwards. I don't really know who this guy is. He starts his video, if you've seen it, by trying to slate fucking Charlie Kirk. So he's not coming from a kind of a Charlie Kirk fan, and he uses some argument about when Charlie Kirk went to Cambridge University and he was talking about same-sex marriage. The guy in Cambridge brought up Mesopotamia and was talking about how that was sort of legal and all sorts of things, and he was using this to prove that Charlie Kirk picks and chooses his argument, and Charlie at the end of the day just goes, regardless of whether it was legal there, I still don't think it's right, which that's just Charlie's stance. He's a religious person. That's his stance on one topic. Doesn't mean that Charlie Kirk's a bad person and deserves to be executed for it. And this guy also fails to bring to context about Mesopotamia and the fact that they used to have animal and human sacrifices, and that was fucking legal. But anyway, that's by and by. We'll come back to that in a second. So I did this, right, the curious case of Erika Kirk, and just raising the fact that it just didn't sit right. It didn't sit right. If you're a religious person and you love your husband, you've just lost the love of your life, you've lost the husband of your children. We saw a similar situation when JFK was assassinated, and how his wife went into, she went out of the public eye for a long period of time. And I'm not saying that that's the right way to grieve. I'm saying that that's more kind of an expected way. There's an expectation of grief. And what I will say is, yes, there are an expectation of grief, and that doesn't mean that this person's grieving wrong, but it made me laugh. Like this person here, if you haven't lost anyone close to you, then don't you dare say anything, because I have lost a daughter and we make ourselves strong in public, so shut your mouth. And I think to myself, this person's lost a child, which is horrendous, and I feel sorry for this individual. But it's very clear that this individual isn't over that loss. They're on YouTube and they're gobbing off at people like me because they're triggered when you have this conversation. And this individual down here goes AI summary, apparently, to my video. It says, he made this video to teach the people who celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, a political activist, on how to grieve. So first of all, to teach the people who celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, I'm just making this video as my personal thoughts on Erika Kirk. And it says, on how to grieve like a British person whose ancestors, after killing third world beggars and enslaving them, never shed any tears for them. He wants to teach people how to grieve, as he lost 9 people, so he is an expert on grieving. If you don't grieve like a Brit, you are doing it wrong, is the message. Brilliant. No, what I'm saying is, I have lost people who are close to me. I've lost both parents, one to mental health, one to a sudden death. I've lost close friends, 4 close friends, 2 to tragic, horrendous accidents, 1 again to mental health caused by the loss of a parent in a sudden accident, and another one who was murdered by a partner. So look, I've lost people around me, and I know how it affects me. And there's just a way that when people go in public and they've suffered a horrendous loss, you know that they're hiding. And they will limit and restrict how they go out to the public, because they are aware that they're in pain and they are suffering, and there is only so much hiding you can do. It's like Jimmy Kimmel. Now, what I will say is when Jimmy Kimmel, let me just come back up there for a second. When Jimmy Kimmel was took off, I'm not saying that that was right. I'm not saying that was right at all. It just played into this fucking rhetoric of an attack on free speech. But what he said was wrong, and he should have apologised. He came out and done the apology. But in this apology, at the beginning of it, he's crying and making it look... And then he goes on, does a complete pivot, 90 seconds on, and is laughing and joking again, which makes the beginning of that disingenuous. And that's what happens. When you're talking, you fall back into it. The cracks start to show. And that's the same with grief. If you're suffering horrendous grief and you've been truly deeply hurt by it, you can go out in the public all you want, but the cracks are going to show. And the thing what I find with what I've seen of Erika Kirk, it doesn't seem to be any fucking cracks showing. In fact, the more she's out and the more she's talking and the longer she is left to just ramble on, the more it seems to be that she is fucking elated and excited for the future and what's going to happen. And the funny thing is, the excitement is still around Turning Point USA and what they've got to do. We've got videos that you haven't seen yet. We're going to do this. Don't worry. The views are going to keep going. The videos are going to keep going. They're going to go up and up and up. We're going to keep bringing it. Don't worry. We're not going to upload things and pretend that it's Charlie. Oh, that's fucking stupid. We're not going to do that. It's fucking creepy as fuck to even suggest that. Do you know what I mean? But I ain't the only one who's starting to see. So let's just feed back into this here and just listen to this.
Erika Kirk is also getting called out, this time by far-right Nazi Nick Fuentes, who unfortunately may be right, because Erika Kirk, here's how she's been reacting since her husband was assassinated.
We have Sunday specials lined up to the brim because my husband was so intentional about making sure that there was
And again, just pay close attention. Just look at her. Just look at her while she's talking and remember the gravity of the situation. She has lost the love of her life. He was shot in public and she has very likely seen it. Well, she has seen it. We know that. It was... Do you know what I mean? It just fucking horrendous. Absolutely fucking horrendous. And then in the aftermath of it, you've got all this shit show around it. A massive shit show that she's obviously hearing the different rumours and rumblings around it. And if she hasn't, then why fucking hasn't she? Why has she not heard anything? I'm not buying it. But anyway, let's carry on.
Content always.
He made sure we recorded everything.
Everything.
He would not do a speech unless we could get the video and the
100%. So we have speeches that no one's heard of. We have interviews that no one's heard of. We have stuff from Korea and Japan that no one's heard of.
Podcasts.
So, I mean, in the words of my husband, buckle up, because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
It's just, I just can't get it. I don't get it because it is so fucking alien to me. And I know I've spoken about this before, but I suppose what I'm glad is that other people are seeing it. And it ain't just me being a prick. Do you know what I mean? Because it just, from my own experience with different forms of loss and variance in how close I were to the individuals, you know, it's I think to myself, was I a few days after it, did I have the ability to do this? And for people to turn around and say, yeah, but she's got God on her side. God on her side. Fucking Jesus. Sorry. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy to me. It's bewildering. How happy she looks. And it's all around this TP USA. Like how quickly she jumped into the CEO position. Would you not be concerned that if your husband and your children have just lost their father And you think to yourself, so is that because of this? Is that really because of this? What we do around this fucking thing? And it's taken my husband, it's taken my children's father, and does this, if I now get into his shoes, does that then put me at risk? Am I going to be looking over my fucking shoulders while I'm in the street? Because they've now proven that we've gone over that step now. We have got to that point where people, if you are posing a threat to someone, you'll be executed in the public. That's been a fucking thing for long enough. But now, if we're genuinely going down the route of you can just say something that some fucker don't like and you'll just be executed, what mum who is thinking about her children would think, oh, I know what I'll do. Their dad's just been fucking shot in public. I'm just going to climb straight into his fucking seat and carry on regardless. You've got to fuck it. I'll tell you what, I'd be sitting there, and before I even took that role on, I'd be saying, what is going to be put into place to make sure that I'm safe and my children are safe if I start doing this? Because is that worth it? Would you be fucking asking God for protection? Maybe she'll get a holy fucking bulletproof vest and face. Maybe she'll be wheeled around in a metal fucking box with a glass thing like the fucking Pope does. Do you know what I mean? We'll see. Let's just go back over and just listen to the last bit of this.
Excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird to be excited about the Charlie Kirk material you have recorded. It's just strange to me in the way that she's like laughing and smiling. Like, apparently I wasn't the only one. Unfortunately, Nick Fuentes agreed.
It's like, lady, didn't your husband just get his face blown off like 2 seconds ago? And not to be insensitive about it, but everyone's thinking it. No one wants to be the asshole. No one wants to say it. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone was thinking it when she gave the first speech. Everyone was definitely thinking it at the memorial. Nobody wants to say it because it's inappropriate.
And that's it, isn't it? That's the point of it. There's so many things around this kind of thing. When you're talking about crime, when you're talking about deaths of people, there are so many situations where people will attack you because you're saying things. When in reality, the truth of it is there are many, many people who are thinking things, but there's people who don't want to say it. They daren't say it. They just daren't turn around and say, hold on a second, that just don't fucking look right. And it's with that mentality that people just carry on regardless, and people get away with stuff. Now, I'm not saying that she's guilty of anything, but what I am saying is it looks odd. It looks really fucking bizarre. That Charlie Kirk, he had stuff going on in the background of his life. He was starting to change direction in how he felt about things. He was starting to question things around TPUSA. Again, if you believe some of the things that are coming out regarding the money side of TPUSA. And lo and behold, a few days after that, apparently that's what happened. A few days after questioning about the funds, he then gets executed. And lo and behold, then his wife jumps straight into the fucking seat just days after.
Sensitive. I am the troll, right? So I'll be the one to say it. I think it's super inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's weird. It's bizarre. Something is off there, and I don't like it. But they're doing the Super Bowl commentators with the headsets on, doing a media table. They're selling merch, registering voters. They got pyrotechnics. Is this WrestleMania or is this a funeral? Like, what are we doing here? And then, the day after the funeral, I'm getting 500 texts and emails. Erika Kirk here. I miss him. Every time I blink, every beat of my heart. Make sure...
It's fucking unreal, isn't it? It's like you do something on autopilot and it reveals the cracks, but then you realise, you probably look back and think, fucking hell, I probably went a little bit too far for that, so now I'm going to have to balance the scale, and I miss him. That's how that feels. It seems off. I can't listen to any more of him, but you get how I feel, and you get my point. The point being is, just something seems really off. And I think the important thing to do here is to, yes, understand that people do grieve differently. And there isn't a boilerplate way to grieve. But you can't turn around and say or ignore the fact that there's this situation that you look at and just think, it just fucking feels off, man. It seems off. The entire situation seems off. So when you then look at it under the microscope from a compartmental situation where you don't just look at his death as a whole, but you look at all the individual components of it and the spurs off of it, there's so many people who seem to be happy that he's gone. And it's now about, right, this is it. So let's see if Turning Point has a fucking turning point, and whether they do indeed pivot away from some of the fundamental values that Charlie Kirk had, because that will be interesting. If they start pulling away, or what can I say? Let me know down below what you think, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Mwah.